Well, howdy friends, Brian Flechsig of Mad River Outfitters in the Midwest Fly Fishing Schools, and welcome back to another one of our Q&A episodes. As always, friends, we appreciate your questions. In fact, that's what we do for a living. Any questions, send them over to admin@madriveroutfitters.com. Of course, if it's an emergency or you'd rather speak to somebody, pick up the phone and give us a call. I do want you to remember, though, is that unfortunately we have to work and monitor email and answer phones, so we cannot get to questions in the comments here on YouTube. It's just not humanly possible. We have to sleep at some point. So send those questions over to admin@madriveroutfitters.com if you'd like them answered on the YouTube channel. If you're just looking for some help with anything related to fly fishing, pick up the phone and give us a call here at the shop. Okay, Drew from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Drew says, hey guys, my question is about Furled Leaders. I want to get to try them, and I'm going to purchase one from you guys once I have a big enough cart to get free shipping. My question is about methods to tie on Tippet to a Furled Leader. I know I could just use the Tippet ring, but I'm imagining I won't like it. So if I snell on 3X Tippet, could I make a perfection loop with that 3X and then tie my Tippet onto the perfection loop using a clinch knot, as if the perfection loop was the Tippet ring? That way I get the convenience of the Tippet ring without the splashing of it. Is there a reason why this wouldn't work? Well, Drew, it sounds maybe like you have watched a video. I think it was a Q&A video that we did. It's been several years ago. Hopefully we can find that, and it probably linked right here. If you can't see that link right here, check down in the description of this video. There's always tons of information, and most of your questions will be answered down in the video descriptions. Sounds like you've seen that because you know that I like to cut off the Tippet ring. Okay, these Furled Leaders come, the Mad River Outfitters brand Furled Leaders, which are made right here in Ohio. They do come with a Tippet ring, and most people like them, and that's fine. If you like it, use it. So, Drew, I would say try the Tippet ring and see what you think. I prefer to not have the Tippet ring. That's just me. Okay, so what I do is I snell using my stiffener. I snell on the thread versions, I snell on a piece of 3X. Okay, so I snell knot about a 4-inch piece, and then yes, I do put a perfection loop on there. The same thing we do with a contact fly fishing leader, where you want your butt section to match the stiffness of your fly line. I've just found that 3X tends to match the stiffness of the thread Furled Leaders. And that way I avoid the Tippet ring, which I think sometimes smacks down on the water a little too heavy for my taste, and it causes my loop to open up because it's so heavy. And that seems to affect my cast. Again, if you like Tippet rings, I'm certainly not trying to insult you, I'm just telling you what I do. And then from that 3X, I can go 3X, 4X, even 5X Tippet. If I'm going down to 6X, I'll probably put a piece of 4X, maybe a foot, and then I'll put maybe 3 foot of 6X Tippet. I don't like jumping from 3X to 6X. That creates too much of a hinge. Okay. And in this case, I think, so it sounds like you understand that part of it, okay? The part that I don't like is I don't like tying the clinch knot to that loop. I think that's going to cause you problems. I would go loop to loop, no question. I would tie up, pre-tie some tippets, okay? And you could keep them in your leader wallet, for example. I would tie up some tippets. If you are using 6X, make up some of this 1 foot of 4 and 3 foot of 6, or however long you want to make them, and then tie a perfection loop in the butt of it so that you can go loop to loop and then to your 4X and then down to your 6X Tippet. Of course, if it's If it's just a 4X tippet, you can easily go from this 3X, we'll call this the little connector or the loop connector. I can easily go 3X to 4X, 3X to 5X, probably not a bad thing. If you're going 6X or 7X, you're going to want a transition piece in there. It doesn't have to be any particular length. I'll a lot of times just do 1 foot and say 3 foot. It just tends to cast better, turns the fly over better. I would not tie a clinch knot directly to that loop. I think you're going to cut into that loop. Maybe not right away, but you're definitely going to cut into that loop over time. First and foremost, you might lose a really good fish. And then secondarily, you're going to mess up that connector. If you do this right, you go loop to loop, you're going to snell that piece of 3X onto your furled leader once, and then it's loop to loop from there on out. And we've talked about this before, even though I don't like loops in certain situations. Once you get down into that far end of your leader, that loop to loop connection doesn't really matter. It does not affect the fly cast like a loop in your fly line does. Just a side note, I also use the mono furled leaders. I use the mono, for example, when I go out to Montana, excuse me, and I'm throwing grasshoppers and such. In windier conditions, I like the thread furled leaders for smaller dry flies, flatter water, less windy conditions. If it's windy and you're throwing hoppers and big Chernobyls, salmon flies, things like that, the mono thread leaders, and I use a 0X connector for that thread leader, or excuse me, for the mono. 0X for the mono, 3X for the thread. And again, that original Q&A video, I'm pretty sure it was a Q&A that we did. I think it was a gal that asked the question about cutting the tippet ring off. When you snell that on, go to our knot tying tutorials too, and you can see the snell video. This is kind of my new snelling tool, which of course we're going to be selling here at the shop. So we'll tell you about that, or just look on the website. They're probably already on the website. So there you have it. So you're going to have the convenience of the tippet ring. So you still have a loop, but just go loop to loop. Don't tie that clinch knot. So there you go, Drew. We're going to send you out a hat and a fly box. And thanks to everybody. We really appreciate y'all. We appreciate the support. It's only with your support of Mad River Outfitters that we're able to continue to make these videos. And as I've been saying recently, for that matter, for us to stay in business. 2024 is our 30th year in business. And I'd like to be doing this in another 30 years. So thanks for your support. We appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification icon so you get a notification every time we release a video. We appreciate you watching. Hop on over to madriveroutfitters.com, buy a bunch of things, and register to receive our monthly newsletter. And be sure to watch this video right here as well. It's pretty good. And then this one right here, it's really, really good. So stay tuned, friends. We've got a lot more fly fishing content coming at you.